Testing. 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 Testing.
Okay, let's continue with the city council meeting at 8:17. Just a little explanation as to what had happened. We had some technical difficulties. We continued with public session, took notes on that, and we waited to start our regular council meeting until now. So that's what we will do, and we're back on track. Thank you for everyone who let us know and helped out with it. That being said, public session was closed. We will now convene the 4/8/24 regularly scheduled council meeting at 8:17. I am looking for a motion to approve two journals. First, the Journal of March 21st, which was a special meeting. Do I have that motion?
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Perfect. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? One abstention? You got that?
Mhm.
Two abstentions?
Who's the other second one? Ann
Yes.
Heffernan?
Okay. Motion carries. The second motion will be approval of minutes for the regular meeting of March 25th.
Motion.
I have a motion there.
Second.
Second. I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? One abstention.
Just one.
from Akbarali,
Akbarali.
and motion carries. Okay. At this time, will Madam Clerk please hand out the communications for this evening?
We have before us Communication A from the tax collector regarding overpayment refunds for April 2024, which will be filed with tonight's minutes. Communication B from Alyssa Mattern, Director of Elderly Services, regarding a request for interdepartmental transfer of funds being assigned to the Finance Committee. Councilwoman Akbarali. Communication C from the Allingtown Fire Chief, Michael Terenzio, regarding a request for interdepartmental transfer of funds being assigned to the Finance Committee. Councilwoman Akbarali. Communication D from Mayor Dorinda Boer regarding the appointment of Andy Weinstein, 20 Platt Avenue, West Haven, on the Economic Development Commission. Mr. Weinstein's appointment will be for a term of 2 years, effective immediately, and will expire on April 8th, 2026, being assigned to the Personnel and Civil Service Committee. Councilwoman Coletti. And we have Communication E from Mayor Dorinda Boer regarding residential curbside recycling containers using ARPA funds in lieu of the Recycling Reuse Center, being assigned to the council as a whole. Chairman Pascal. And that concludes our communications for this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Let us now recess into committee meetings at 8:20. First up, we have, under council as a whole, we have a ARPA update from Ken Carney. Ken Carney, please. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I'll start with the large tracker sheet. If you go to page 1 of your booklet, we have the proposed budget for the soft costs for the ARPA committee going forward. The council approved a transfer to fund through June. Our budget is UHY at $12,000 per month, Carmody at $16,000, Robert Half at $11,500, Jow at $300, and a monthly, bring us to a monthly total of $39,800. If we divide that into the funds that are available, that brings us fully funded through the end of June. Next, I go to Child Development Center roof. We are about 80% done with that project. We're finishing up some flashing, a little bit more roofing to do, and we have the RTUs coming close behind to finish that project. Parks Fund, we have roughly 58% of the money spent. We have some large projects on the horizon. We've got $100,000 earmarked for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial expansion. This would allow additional names to be put on the memorial of West Haven residents who served in Vietnam and did not make the original memorial. We have a project on the green to rewire the green to code, making it safe and have the ability to have power and internet on the green. And we have a large project in the works in design for Plainfield Park, and that should consume most of the parks money fund. Next, I've got Board of Ed food pantry. This is a mistake on the tracker. My apologies. That is fully spent. We do have $75,000 that has not been procured at this point for Savin Rock Communities, and they're still working on contracts for that. Stormwater problem areas, we have spent roughly $265,000 out of $1.4 million. We have two entities following the CDM Smith drainage plan, and one is the City of West Haven using our own forces, and we have the low bidder Cerulli, who is also out there fixing catch basins, fixing pipes, cleaning debris with lots of success. Talking to the professionals, CDM Smith, they feel that the money that we have available will cover every single repair they recommend. This is all low-hanging fruit. It's not millions of dollars worth of work, but it's cleaning up the storm basins and getting the pipes flowing again. The library is next. We have the library navigator system underway, and they are submitting invoices as they come in. City Hall windows, we have settled on the Tribute vinyl window. The first window is coming in next week. We're going to schedule time to install it in the assessor's office as a practice window, and then 8 weeks later, the rest of the windows come in. This is a single hung vinyl window with grids that are contoured in between the panes of glass. We conservatively estimate a 26% fuel savings for this building, both heating and air, and the ability to open the windows and have screens and tilt the window in for easy cleaning. Fire District Allentown, That bid is due next week, and that is for the garage. West Shore is in design for their bunks where their personnel sleep, to expand their sleeping quarters. And Center is in negotiations to buy 2 houses. One they have a verbal commitment on, and they're still working on the second. The cameras, I did prepare a small sample of what that looks like. Can you do click share?
You want me to switch over?
Yeah. Thank you.
Say a prayer.
Those are the call boxes. Where's the call boxes? So this is the view before the cameras are even focused and cleaned. And I didn't pick the music. This is the map of all the cameras, and this is the first pole. Many of these cameras, the police have the opportunity to zoom in on. Stop. For some reason, it's not continuing. It still says broadcasting. So the status of the project is we have it's not changing. We have all the cameras operating. The call boxes will be operating early next week, and we have the internet fiber optic system being installed on the 18th, I believe. In the meantime, the cameras can be seen from the bathhouse.
So Ken, are we finished with the click?
Yeah,
share?
yeah.
I'm gonna switch back then.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll hit stop broadcast. Painter Park Fieldhouse, we are missing a site plan that we're waiting for. And as soon as we get that, that'll go out to bid. The design is done, but we're still waiting for the site plan. Haley School, the contract is signed. That's a handicap ramp, and that'll be starting soon, as possibly the end of this month or early May. West Haven Turf, we handed them a punch list. They finished it. The job is good, and we're wrapping that up now. HVAC for Noble Community Center, the units are in, and they'll be installed as soon as the roof is finished. The electrical main breakers, we do have some movement on that, and I'll report back to you next month on that. Kerrigan Boilers, we have reduced the scope of work, and we'll be coming back to you at the next council meeting to talk about a bid waiver for that. Bleacher repairs, that we have some movement on that. That'll be going out to bid soon. Community mental health, that is very successful. West Haven residents are getting mental health sessions paid for by ARPA. Storage shed for the police department, we're meeting the engineer tomorrow. We have to relocate the building because of underground wires that were detected during the recent site review. Recreation areas for Kerrigan schools is done except for permanent lines. That'll happen as soon as the weather warms up. Then we go to your stormwater capital fund. We're paying CDM Smith out of this, as well as doing some matching grant funds. Recycling and recycling reuse center. We're asking for a resolution to move those funds into a different buy. The recycle center has hit some snags. There's a time frame issue. There's deep permitting. The land is very tight, and if we do achieve it, we're going to talk about 3 additional city employees to put down there, and you're talking well over a year to get that going. And with that, the mayor has a better plan, which I'll let her share with you now. Okay, I can do
You
that.
want me to do that now, or
That's up
finish
to you.
going through the list and then I'll come back to it?
Sounds good.
Okay.
EMS premium pay is still hung up in MARB. Housing Crisis Grant Fund. We actually had to pull the contract from the vendor who won that for lack of action, and that money is now available to be reappropriated for the homeless or whatever the council wishes. Aid to small business, a new program is being developed for that. Support for the arts community, that contract is signed and that is underway. Library site, we have $1 million reserved, but we'll require a council resolution to spend that money when the time comes. Everything else below the line is completed. Any questions for me?
Thank you, Ken. So before I have the whole council weigh in on this, we've heard a lot about the water issues lately. We've had 3 different groups come up here today. Was that already in process that we were aware of those areas, or have we pivoted a little bit to focus on them at all? Do you know any of the answers to that?
So we know that we have a report that touches virtually every part of our city, requiring that work be done to pipes and storm basins, and that is well underway, and we have the funds to achieve that. I'm going to defer to Rob Sandella. He's doing the schedule and he's running that, and it's going very well.
Thank you. Anyone from the council? Mr. Vargo, and then
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hi, Ken.
Hello.
I have questions on two of the projects. On the camera presentation, the two slides that had the video playback, one was of a gentleman walking, and another was a flock of seagulls or something. Was the timing on that enhanced, or is that the way it's going to be displayed to the PD? Because it looked like it was fast forwarding a little, wasn't in real time.
I don't know if that was fast forward, but I can tell you the PD has the option to go live, to fast forward. And with this technology, they don't have to search very hard. They just type in what the parameters are, and the camera does the searching for them.
Okay, thank you. And my second was on the Kerrigan boilers. I understand that we're reducing the scope of that project. Does that have to come, does approval to reduce the scope have to come before us, since the city council, the prior council, voted to do a project, and are you now changing the scope of that project so it should come back to us?
So I would categorize that as a project that is going to come in under budget because of scope changes that do not require council, another council resolution. However, the excess money will go into the contingency fund that the council controls.
Can you give us an idea of what the new scope is like and why the decision was made?
Well, we think the new scope's going to come in about 1.2 million. And I don't even know if that'll be funded by ARPA because there was some bonding involved. And I think next week, our next meeting, you'll get the answers on that.
Thank you.
Okay.
all set, Mr. Vargo? Thank you. Councilwoman Heffernan?
Thank you very much. Almost every district has had someone come before us, first, second, I don't know about the third, but Water, everybody. And there was Sanford Street had some questions about a project that was already approved, but it was for a study. Do you know anything about that? Is that ARPA funds? I don't know if it was a grant. You can't hear me. Oh my God. But
I'm not familiar with Sanford Street, no.
No, okay. Then it was a different grant. I was just wondering, they're on their way to fixing these things.
I can tell you that there's been deferred maintenance all over the city, and this 1.4 million in ARPA funds is addressing that by cleaning the pipes, labeling every catch basin. I mean, sometimes they go out to a street and they don't know there's a catch basin there because it's completely covered. Yeah. And what happens is, with the ARPA funds, we come in, we replace that catch basin, we clean it out, sometimes we replace it, we snake the pipe, and we get the water flowing again. If all that deferred maintenance gets taken care of under ARPA funds, as we plan on doing, we're going to find a lot less flooding around town. It's not going to solve the problems, low areas or hills behind people's homes and things like that, but at least it'll bring us up to where we should be had the maintenance occurred over the years.
Do the ARPA funds also include if there's been some sort of erosion? I mean, are they fixing those kinds of issues too?
I've seen a couple invoices come in where they had to fix the road and some erosion. We're not focused on that, but if it means fixing the catch basin and getting the water flowing, they're addressing it.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions?
I've got the new rules I think you wanted to hear about on ARPA real quick.
I'm sorry, say again?
There's been some rule changes on ARPA that I was asked to talk about.
Oh, yeah,
for
absolutely.
just 1 minute. So prior to the rule change, we were tasked with the responsibility of coming up with a budget for each project. And while it was being constructed in 25 and 26, if the budget was off, we would have to return that money to the feds. So if we said, okay, the Painter Park Fieldhouse is $1 million, and we start building it, and it comes in at $800,000, we lose the $200,000. If it comes in at $1.2 million, we could not use ARPA funds to pay for the rest of it. The rule has changed now, and we're able to move money around in 25 and 26 to overcome that problem. So that's the major rule change. We can actually budget a job, and if we find that we are under budget, we can reallocate those funds to another ARPA project, which we couldn't do after December of 24. If the project comes in over budget in 25 or 26, we can pull money from another project and finish the project. So those are the rule changes.
Perfect. Councilman Vargo?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If we have a $300,000 savings from a project and we can reallocate it, do we have to reallocate it to one of the projects that are on this project list, or can we come up with a new project? Does it have to be conceptualized? Are there any parameters to that?
So you have the option of creating a new project before December of 24. After December of 24, no new projects.
You're welcome. Do you have to get us? Do you have to get to a certain stage with that project, or you just have to announce that the project's there? There's no.
Well, the stage is basically you identify the project and the council approves it. It becomes a project.
As long, okay,
Yeah.
with council approval, that triggers
Yes.
it. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Any other questions? Absolutely, Councilwoman Coletti.
Thank you, Chairman. Ken, what's in contingency right now?
200,000.
And so reallocation of funds can't override a prior resolution for a line item.
It could actually, if you said, for example, we don't want to do the bleacher repair. I'm just making that up. You could take that 60,000 and put it somewhere else. Yeah, any new resolution overrides an old, and I think you're being asked tonight to do exactly that with the old resolution of the reuse center and the new resolution that we presented to you.
Right.
For the- yeah.
And sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. Sorry, remind me of the deadline dates.
The biggest deadline date is December of 24. We have to announce everything that we're doing by then, and we have to have contracts in place by then.
So contracts have to be in place.
Correct. Not construction done, but contracts in place. 25 and 26, we have a little bit of leeway in that we can move money around and not have to give it back to the feds, providing we stay within the framework of everything that happened before December of 24.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Carney about the ARPA updates? Councilwoman Callahan.
I just had a question before we switched over. It was about the cameras.
Sure.
Nice presentation, by the way. Thank you.
You saw half of it, but that's all right.
No, I mean it was well done, and I like the music. The cameras, and I know maybe we talked about this, but can you refresh my memory? If the kids are down there throwing stuff, are they non-breakable? Do they have like a shield, or they're plastic? I'm worried about the kids like throwing rocks and
Yeah, it'd
glass and
be
stuff.
very difficult to break one of those cameras.
Okay.
Same thing with the call boxes. In
Oh, okay,
fact,
good.
they had a video that I saw during Sandy on the Atlantic City Pier. The call boxes were underwater completely and still worked.
Amazing.
Yeah, so
Well, hopefully we don't have to experience that.
let's
but-
hope not.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Garthwaite.
Ken, where is the last camera? Is it close to West Walk?
It is. It would be north of the beach house, very close to West Walk, and it spans from that area all the way down to the White Sandy Hook Bridge.
To the what? I'm sorry.
The bridge.
To the
San-
bridge.
yeah.
Okay. So, I guess I'm not understanding. I'm saying you showed us everything from the White Bridge, yeah, and we were going down,
Mhm.
and we didn't get to see the very last camera.
You missed a few cameras. So if you pull into the parking lot where West Walk is on your left,
Yep.
I've got cameras in the grass next to that parking lot.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you, Ken.
Councilwoman Akbarali.
Thank you, Chairman. Hi, Ken.
Hello.
So I noticed there was a dome camera near Bradley Point, but you couldn't see beyond, like, actual where the stone or the rock is at Bradley Point. There's a lot of people always down there. Is there another camera in the area where we could see activity?
I believe there is.
Okay.
I can maybe email this to you,
That'd be great.
and you can take a closer look at it.
Yeah, that'd
I
be
believe
great.
you'll
Thank
find
you
what
so
you're
much.
looking for there.
Excellent. Well said, Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councilman Donovan.
Ken, thanks for doing this again. Have we looked at cameras? I know we have extra, hopefully have some extra money coming in. Have we looked at cameras that maybe not live, but we could place throughout the city? We don't have to worry about fiber optics or anything like that? Are there?
That's correct. The police are working on a new proposal that would be treated as a change order for another, I think, 26 cameras throughout the city.
So those could be put anywhere, and then they could just grab it off the tape, whatever they do.
Yeah, my understanding is a cruiser pulls up, and through their laptop they can access the camera, go back 4 or 5 weeks. But that's based on a particular study that the police are doing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman.
So you said 26 cameras that are movable? Is that what?
Well, they'd be placed at various locations.
Right.
And then a cruiser pulls up. It's a national program that a lot of towns and cities use. They pull up to the camera. There's an incident, and the police officer can download the footage going back about 4 weeks.
Okay. But then if that, let's just say whatever activity is going on in that area is now not happening, they can move that camera after that? Is that what I'm
Well,
hearing?
they would mount the camera. It would be fed through power. You could move it, I guess, but I think
Right.
the idea is you pick your spots based on a study, and they stay there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions before we move on to recycling? Sure.
I just want to add one other thing to the cameras. As Ken mentioned, other cameras will be being put out across the city. The council asked for data from the police department to provide some insight as to where those locations are being selected. And Craig Thompson in our police department, who's our IT person, worked on that. He's actually on vacation this week, but he will be coming to the next council meeting to talk about that.
Thank you very much. Any other questions on this, Councilwoman Callahan?
Sorry, Ken, one more. I know that we had talked about going behind the condos and that we're stopping right there right now. If and when we did have the funds, is it a situation where behind the condos, that walkway, it's because it's private residences that we could never put cameras there?
So there's two issues. We can't spend federal funds on private property.
Okay.
And secondly, we did price the rest of Beach Street, and I should have brought that tonight. I didn't. $1.5 million
And that's for Beach Street going all the way down
to the boat ramp.
to the boat ramp. Okay. Thank you.
Several challenges. The most important of which is EPA and deep permits, because you have to dig in the sand. There's no power. It'd be a mess. So.
All right, any more questions before we move on to bigger things? Okay, so tonight before us we have Communication E, which is from Mayor Bohr regarding the recycling containers and using ARPA funds to make that happen. So take it away.
Yes, no better way to demonstrate what we're trying to do than to bring a prop. I was going to have Gary Donovan jump out of it, but or balloons.
Want to make people sick.
But as Ken said, I think it was a great idea originally to do the transfer station. But as time marches on and as we talk about the deadlines, which is December 2024, in order to get everything obligated and up and running, not only is it a time challenge for us, but the more you crunch the numbers on the expense for a transfer station, because you not only have to, transfer station is a holding place, right? You still have to take those goods out of the city, so you have to pay to cart them out, but you also have to pay for someone to man it. So it just seems to be cost prohibitive at this point. So we still want to put the funds towards recycling and keeping in spirit with what we originally wanted to do with the funds. So I think this is really great. I'm very excited about this alternate program because we're never going to get this type of funding again to be able to roll out a program like this. And I think, if you look across the city, we probably have the smallest bins around the state. We're some of the last to put together a program like this. They have lids, right? They're going to keep the water out. So it's actually going to be less heavier, even though we're going to be recycling more. It's safe because when we have a windstorm, those small bins, everything flies out of those bins. It's a mess across our city, and it's also a hazard, and it keeps the animals out because the animals still do like to go for recycling, even though things are cleaned out. So these are 65-gallon recycle bins. It is repurposing the $735,000 from the recycle center to this program, and then we are going to get, I think it's about a 200,000. We're not sure how much will be awarded for a grant for recycling. That if you put this program into place, we're going to apply. They'll be branded, and then we have to market them because we have to do appropriate proper rollout so that there's no gaps. So this cost before you actually includes the delivery. We're going to have to deliver about 16,000 of them across the city. That's what our estimate is showing us, and this company will do it. There's still a couple of unanswered questions. So before, we don't have all the answers, right? What are you going to do with your old one? What if I need to replace mine? What is the timing? Are you going to do it by district? These are all things we've been meeting on and figuring out. But until we repurpose the funds and we're allowed to go forward with this program, then, we'll continue to work on those answers. But the goal is early summer to roll these out. And they also have a scan code on them. So there's a software program where you could actually track the recycling, and you could get some more funding for it. Not quite sure if we're going to go down that road with the software. We could always add it later, but that's an additional expense that's not added in here. But if we could get a grant for that, that'll be great. So let's see. I think that's about it. It's the 846,000. This was going to go on the MARB agenda this Thursday. If you all approve it this week, the MARB meeting actually was just canceled. Postponed. It'll probably be in 2 weeks, but we want to be able to get this to MARB because we want to be able to roll. We want this to roll out this summer. So I'm excited, and it's going to look uniform going down the street. It's going to look nice and neat.
I think it looks great. As a matter of fact, of all the ARPA funds that have been spent so far, I like the fact that residents actually get something tangible out of it, where they can say, okay, money was spent on me, and I'm looking at it and I use it every week. So does anybody have any questions on the program? Councilman Donovan?
I actually like the program. I was a big advocate of the reuse center and getting rid of the bulk trash, because then possibly down the road making money, but I do understand the whole process of we still got to have things removed, and we still need people there. Plus, talking to the residents in my district where it would be, they were not happy with it. So, there's less arguing or less bickering we have to go, which is good. Question I have is it, and you maybe know it or don't know it, 2-family, 3-family houses, each floor gets one? Is that what we're looking
Wherever we pick up now.
Wherever we pick
Yep.
up now.
If
So-
there's 3 at a house,
Yeah.
there'll be 3 bins.
So I'm moving from X Avenue. I'm going to move over to Z Lane in West Haven, and I take my bin with me. Is that something we need to control, or people moving in to the city as well?
Yeah, we're going to purchase a cushion, right? And that's another question we're figuring out where we're going to store them because they're big, obviously. We have a couple of places identified that we already own, a storage facility. We might put them there. So we'll have a cushion for if one is destroyed or if somebody's new to town. We are going to have them branded. I'm not sure if I said that.
Yeah.
That I did. Okay. That's part of the grant, so that folks can't come into West Haven and take them outside of West Haven. So I'm not sure about the moving. That's a good question from one place to another, but we'll add that to the list. We're gonna probably have this have everything resolved in 2 weeks. No promises, but we've been meeting pretty aggressively on it because again we want to get them out.
Good. I like the program. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Councilwoman Callahan, then Vargo.
Hello, Mayor.
Hello.
I do like the new bins very much, and I think everybody else will. My question is, and maybe other people are probably thinking the same thing, is the garbage truck able to pick this up, or are the people working the garbage truck have to lift this, and is it going to be an issue?
Good question. Very good question. So this bin has the bar, as you can see in the front. We're going to be going. Is it in the front? Yeah. We're going to be going out to bid in August for our hauler for both our recycle and our regular trash hauling. And so it has the bar in case our successful bidder has the ability to automatically put it in. That'd be great. You have to place the containers in very specific areas for that to happen. So there are some challenges with that, although it's automated. But either way, we're going to put it out to bid, and those companies that bid on it and can handle our receptacles will get the bid.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Vargo and then Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mayor, I think this is great. Thank you.
Thank
I'm very
you.
excited.
Thanks.
Just to talk about Councilwoman Callahan's point, I have those size garbage containers, and I've never had a problem with the current company or I even think the former company lifting them up and putting them into the truck. So I don't think that'll be a problem. My two questions are: can you clarify? The project is 846 and change, and we have 700 and something. Is the grant going to bridge that gap
Yes.
for us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. The grant is going to bridge. I'm 90% confident we're going to get the grant because we're doing a program that has received this grant before. Olivia and myself and Dustin have been working on it. They give us funding towards marketing, and they'll give us funding towards branding. It's all about the communication, and as we have seen in the past, it's all about the rollout.
Is there a plan B in case, or we're pretty confident we're going to get it?
Yeah, I haven't.
Perfect. And my final question is, I'm a little ignorant on on how the tipping fees and all that work. If we're going to be filling up these 65-gallon containers with recyclables, is that going to have an impact on what we're paying?
Our tipping fees are actually going up this year because they're going up across the board. We're in a cooperative agreement, and we are one of the largest in this cooperative district. So we're trying to negotiate with that cooperative that I think we're helping to drive the cost down for other municipalities if I analyze the data. So we're going to go back and say, we think our tipping fees need to be a little lower, given that we're the largest volume in this cooperative. So tipping fees were changing $15. So it's a little nebulous because the tipping fees are going up. We're looking to leverage them to go down. Plus, this is going to change the dynamic. So we're still figuring that out.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
and we accounted for that. We accounted for that and that in the budgeting. So when you get to that part of the budget, the department head can talk about that.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Councilman Macmillan.
Good evening, Mayor. I would just like to put in a request that my district, District 5, we roll that out.
First?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions?
I live with Chris
Councilwoman
Vargo.
Garthwaite.
Mayor, I'm so excited for this. I think the last council would agree if they were watching this. I was a big advocate for recycling, and so this is something I'm so pleased that you're doing finally for the city of West Haven. I have a couple of little nitpicky questions.
Sure.
So with regard to theft, because that does happen, I've had it happen to us. People will take them, probably they don't have them or they had their own stolen. Is it okay for us to write our address on the bin?
Yeah.
Just so no one else takes our bin? Because that's what I had to do with.
So coming from somebody who bought a big bin and it was stolen in 2 weeks, because I live on Main Street and I did not write my address on it, and I'm sorry I didn't. The scan process is actually supposed to tie to your home, but that would be the software package that we're not quite sure that we want to pay for.
Okay.
So you can write it on. Maybe we need to come up with a consistent way people write on it so it's
Right.
not all over the
All
place,
over the
because the
place.
idea is we want to look a little uniformed and neat. So that's a good point. Maybe we in our rollout we talk about where the best place is to put your address.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
good. And then re-education. I think we're going to
Yes.
have to re-educate, right? So
Yes. So I understand that somebody came in and educated us on recycling. There's about 100 people in the Harriet North room. It's free of charge. I think they're a state agency, and Olivia spearheaded that in the past, so Olivia said she would do it again.
Good. Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
I think we need to educate. And we're also, while we're on the topic of recycling, there's a program, Urban Mining. Urban Mining is a place in Connecticut that takes in glass and it recycles the glass, it crushes it and turns it into dust for cement. And we're actually going to be meeting with them because that's an opportunity to participate and maybe use that cement because it's recyclable in buildings. And I believe the VA's parking garage is using that. So it's becoming, it's a pretty good program.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And when we had our district meetings, remember when we had our 10, what did we have? Our district meetings. This came up a lot. Recycling came up a lot, almost at every meeting. And when we broached the subject that this was something we may be interested in, it got really great feedback. So I'm excited. Like you said, it's a tangible thing that our residents can see where their money's going.
Right. Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none. Let me find my place here. I will entertain a motion regarding residential curbside recycling containers in lieu of recycling reuse center. Do I have one?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I am going to have the clerk read the resolved into the record.
To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your committee on council as a whole, to whom was referred the matter of residential curbside recycling container using ARPA funds in lieu of recycling reuse center, reports that the committee met on the 8th day of April 2024 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following be presented. Whereas the city is in receipt of certain federal coronavirus stimulus funds, hereinafter referred to as ARPA funds. Whereas former Mayor Nancy R. Rossi previously submitted to the council an outline plan for the expenditure of ARPA funds, which has been supplemented by Mayor Dorinda Borer, Mayor. Whereas the City Council has fiscal responsibility for the appropriation of ARPA funds under Section 4 of the City Charter entitled Supplemental Appropriation. Whereas the Mayor, her administration, and impaneled Citizen Review Committee, ARPA Committee, have executive duties for administering the ARPA funds, including but not limited to the purchasing requirements of Chapter 42 of the Code of the City of West Haven attached heretofore for reference. Whereas the council is required to appropriate funds for projects that the council selects to fund. Whereas this resolution is intended to supplement previous resolutions made on the same subject. Resolved that the City Council hereby appropriates funding for the following project: residential curbside recycling container purchase up to $750,500. A total of up to $753,500 is appropriated to assist in funding the City of West Haven's purchase of rollable recycling carts designed for use by the city residents and/or landlords to assist in and facilitate the collection and/or reuse of recyclable items within the City of West Haven. This resolution is intended to supersede and replace the council's prior resolutions, dated May 31st, 2022, which appropriated $1 million in funding for a recycle and reuse center, dry municipal solid waste transfer station, ARPA project 2022-011, to be designed, developed, and constructed on city-owned land on Helm Street, and its resolution dated February 12th, 2024, reducing the prior appropriation by $200,000. The project authorized by the May 31st, 2022 Recycle Reuse Center resolution and modified by the February 12th, 2024 resolution is hereby terminated, and the funding authorized in that resolution is withdrawn. Further resolved that Dorinda Borer, as mayor of the City of West Haven, shall A, develop a program narrative and project budget for the ARPA-funded programs listed above. B, report said narrative, budget, and resulting expenses, accounting reports to the City Council for oversight and monitoring no less than once monthly. C, that monthly reports to the council continue until all funds are expended and final reports are made to the U.S. Department of the Treasury for the ARPA-funded projects. D, that contingency funds shall remain unappropriated until the city council authorizes transfer to an approved expense account. E, that all project cost overruns shall be approved by the city council before costs are incurred. And F, that all project surplus be returned to the ARPA contingency fund for further action by the city council. Further resolved that Dorinda Boer, as mayor of the city of West Haven, is authorized and directed to execute and deliver any and all documents related to this resolution on behalf of the city of West Haven and do so and perform all acts and things which she deems to be necessary or appropriate to carry out the terms of such documents, including but not limited to executing and delivering all agreements and documents contemplated by such documents.
Thank you.
And that motion has been unanimously approved.
All right, and I so move. Okay, that ends the ARPA Committee Council as a whole at 9:06. We're going to move on to the Finance Committee. Councilwoman Akbar Ali.
Thank you, Chairman. The time is now 9:06, and your Committee on Finance is now in session. Committee members present are Councilman Vargo, Councilwoman Garthwaite, who is temporarily filling in for Councilman Johnstone, and myself, Councilwoman Akbar Ali, as chair. Councilwoman Tucker and Councilman Locks are absent. The first order of business is the MARB update, but Mayor Boer, we're having a MARB meeting in 2 weeks. Is that correct?
That is correct. The MAR meeting was scheduled for this Thursday, and they postponed it. I think they're having a session day, probably why.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Next on our agenda is Communication B from Melissa Mattern, Director of Elderly Services, regarding a request for interdepartmental transfer of funds. I would like to open this up.
I'll take the next one.
Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. So I spoke with Alyssa Mattern, the Director of Elderly Services, and to my understanding, she is getting rid of the senior center part-time recreational aid. And she's going to take those funds and put them in instructors. And she said that the reason for this is she tried to hire multiple times for this position, but couldn't find anyone that was qualified. So she's completely taking it off of the budget. So we're not going to see that in our book. So I don't have a problem at all transferring these funds. Does anybody on the committee have any questions?
I actually have a question. Is that okay?
I was just going to say, does anybody on the council first have any questions before Mayor Boer interjects? Okay, Mayor Boer.
These are her part-time instructors. I should have asked before she left. I said, "Oh, you could leave. I got this."
She told me they weren't even part-time.
The instructors.
So they're hourly, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Yep.
Because you actually have to vote on whether she eliminates the part-time, right? Because she has a request in for full-time. So this is really only for the remaining budget.
Right.
Okay. Just
Yep.
wanted to clarify.
Absolutely.
So this
No,
is through
that's
the
great.
rest of the fiscal year
Yes,
2024.
exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, so seeing there is no more questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, the next order of business is Communication C from Allentown Fire Chief Terenzio regarding a request for interdepartmental transfer of funds. So Chief Terenzio is not here. I don't have any issue approving the transfer of funds for this, but I did have a lot of questions regarding the expenses and unallocated contingency funds.
Chairman, are you making a motion to discuss?
I'm sorry, I forgot to open. I would like to make a motion to open.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. So if anybody on the committee has any questions, unfortunately, Chief Terenzio is not here to answer them, but if there's any issue, you can let me know. Anybody on the committee? Councilman Vargo?
I just have some general questions. It could definitely wait for the chief to come during his budget because I think that's really where my questions are. Is,
Right.
Are these long-term expenses and we're just shoring up the gap now?
Exactly.
Or are these one-time expenses coming out of contingency? But I have no problem approving this transfer now and then asking him during the budget meeting.
Exactly. Anybody else on the committee have any questions? Anyone on the council have any questions? Councilman Donovan?
Yeah. Got a lot of questions with that, so I'm not sure I would be in favor of the transfer at this point until I get answers, or the council gets answers. So I'm obviously going to think about that before it comes out for a vote to the council, but I just hate to say yes to something and then have the questions come out afterwards, and it may not fit our criteria, or we might not like the answer. So unless anybody can correct me here or make me see otherwise.
So I myself, I don't have an issue with transferring since it's in their own department. But like you said, Councilman Donovan, there are a lot of questions when it comes to telephone expenses, equipment, maintenance, repair. I'd like to see exactly what is listed, item by item. That's something that's just very important to me as finance chair, to see those. But if they're using unallocated contingency funds, I don't see why there would be a problem just approving that transfer today, and then we can talk to them during the budget meeting. So, Councilman Fargo.
Yeah, I felt the same way, but I think that because this is well within their budget, it's well within their contingency. My fear is that they've already committed. They've either done the repairs, or they've committed to the repairs and they're needed, or they've committed to these expenses. So I'm more concerned on a going forward basis. So I'm okay with them using their contingency money as long as they have it, which they clearly do. I'm okay with their using it now. But I think that we do need some answers for the fiscal year 25 budget.
And that's the same issue I was having as well. Yeah, absolutely. Councilwoman Heffernan.
There is a commissioner here from the Allentown Fire Department.
Commissioner, are you able to
speak to this? Okay.
Yeah, I figured so.
I didn't mean to put him on the
Okay, I
spot,
just
but
want,
he's
yeah.
here.
Thank you. Councilwoman.
Yeah, I have to agree with Councilman Vargo, is that if it's already in their funds, I don't see any harm in transferring it. I was more not afraid of just if it is a time sensitive thing, where if we held it up, like you said, if things are already in repair or going forward. So I have to agree with Councilman Vargo with that. So
Absolutely.
Yeah,
At
for
first,
sure.
I was thinking about holding it just to ask those questions, but for me, if it's within their own budget, I don't have a problem approving that transfer, just because like Councilman Vargo said, that some of those repairs could have already been taking place, so, and it could be time sensitive.
Correct.
So I don't have an issue with just approving the transfer, but those questions do need to be answered.
Absolutely. And I agree with you too, especially because it is the fire department. That's our first and foremost priority for, safety. So, agreed. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions? You're very welcome. Seeing there are no more questions, all those approved?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
We're still in committee.
Oh, I'm sorry. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Looks like that's the last thing on the agenda for finance. The time is now 9:14, and your committee on finance is now closed.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Moving on to Personnel and Civil Service, Councilwoman Coletti.
Thank you, Chairman. The time is now 9:15, and your Committee on Personnel and Civil Service is now in session. Present are Councilpersons Vargo, Donovan, and Councilwoman Garthwaite, temporarily for Councilman Johnstone. Absent is Councilman Locks. We have before us tonight Communication D from Mayor Dorinda Borer regarding the appointment of Mr. Andy Weinstein of 20 Platt Avenue in West Haven, Connecticut, to the Economic Development Commission. Mr. Weinstein's appointment will be for a term of 2 years, effective immediately, and will expire April 8th of 2026. I'd like to bring this out favorably.
Motion.
Second.
Second. Thank you. Any discussion within committee?
I'd like to say this is a great candidate, and I love that he is. He's got multiple businesses, and I think this is something that we should consider in the future when you have more candidates have big business owners. So, thank you very much, Mayor, for bringing Mr. Weinstein forward.
Councilman Vargo?
I understand that Mr. Weinstein, I think, left, but Ms. Weinstein, I don't know if we could ask her a quick question. I'm just curious what Comet Realty does.
Would you like to step up?
Really think.
Paige, would you like to
Can
step
we
up to
do
the
that?
mic, please?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Hi, Paige Weinstein, 20 Platt, Mrs. Weinstein. Comet Realty owns property.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paige.
Thank you.
All set?
Yep.
Anything else within committee? Okay, anything else, council as a whole? Mayor Board?
I was anxious there. I'm really excited about this appointment. As we talked about before, the Economic Development Commission I feel like it's been revived in the last couple of months, got a great missions, doing a lot of very interesting and important work for the city of West Haven. We have Councilwoman Coletti, who is our liaison. I see Commissioner Brown, who's also on the Economic Development Commission. But Andy's going to bring an extra level of a dynamic because he is that business owner. He's a doer. He's got a lot of energy, and he's really interested in making the city of West Haven a better place. So I'm grateful that he agreed to be on this commission, and I look forward to seeing all the great work that he's going to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I'll comment on that also as liaison. There's definitely been a rejuvenation of energy within the Economic Development Commission, and they're grateful to be working hand in hand with the mayor's office and to be best help that they can to the city. Mr. Weinstein, I know him and Paige, and I'm very glad to see this appointment come through. I think he'll be an excellent addition to the commission, and I think it is important to have a diverse set of input, diverse opinions, and I am glad to see that he is a small business owner on the commission. So does anyone else have any questions or thoughts? Okay, motion to approve?
Motion.
Second?
We already had the, the motion.
Oh, sorry.
Garthwaite made it and Donovan seconded it.
Okay.
Voting.
Twice.
So we need, no, we're all in favor now.
We're all in favor.
Well,
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. And with that concludes the business of your Personnel and Civil Services Committee. The time is now 9:20.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Let us now reconvene to council as a whole at 9:20 as well. Moving on to unfinished business, seeing there is none. Let us start committee reports. Would you please read communication A into the record, Madam Clerk?
certainly, we have communication A from the tax collector regarding overpayment refunds for April 2024, which will be filed with tonight's minutes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, first up to report out, Finance Committee, Councilwoman Aferrali.
Thank you, Chairman. To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom was referred the matter of Alyssa Mattern regarding interdepartmental transfer, reports that the committee met on the 8th day of April 2024 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolve, the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approve the following interdepartmental line item transfer. Line item 151-00010-4 51100, Senior Center part-time. Current budget amount $35,080. Budget transfer $35,080. Revised budget amount $0. Line item 1510010-52410. Instructors $6,500 for current budget amount. Budget transfer $35,080. Revived budget amount $41,580. I so move.
Thank you very much. I have a motion to approve a matter regarding a request for interdepartmental transfers of funds from elderly services. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom is referred the said matter of Chief Terenzio, Allentown Fire Chief, regarding the interdepartmental transfer, reports that the committee met on the 8th day of April 2024 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved, the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the following interdepartmental line item transfer. Line item 1950010-52150, telephone expense. Current budget amount $14,000. Budget transfer $7,000. Revised budget amount $21,000. Line item 1950010-52580, equipment maintenance repair. Current budget amount $60,000. Budget transfer $25,000. Revised budget amount $85,000. Line item 1950010-56010, unallocated contingency. Current budget amount $175,000. Budget transfer $32,000. Revised budget amount $143,000. I so move.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve a matter regarding a request for interdepartmental transfers from Allentown Fire. Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
Okay, to the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Personnel and Civil Service, to whom was referred the matter of the appointment of Mr. Andrew Weinstein of 20 Platt Avenue, West Haven, Connecticut, 06516, to the Economic Development Commission. Reports that the committee met on the 8th day of April 2024 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Resolved, the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the appointment of Andrew Weinstein, 20 Platt Avenue, West Haven, Connecticut, to the Economic Development Commission. Mr. Weinstein's appointment will be for a term of 2 years and will take effect immediately and expire on April 8th, 2026, and I so move.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve a matter regarding the appointment of Andy Weinstein to the Economic Development Commission. Do I have a second?
Second.
Many seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right. That concludes committee reports. We are moving on to actions on ordinances previously presented. There are none. Any liaison reports this evening? Councilman Donovan?
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I had the privilege and honor of sitting in for Councilman Johnstone on the West Haven Police Department liaison, which I thoroughly enjoyed doing. And I'm hoping that members of the MARB are listening or will listen to this tape and just really think about if it was their town. We just lost another police officer to, they went on to Monroe because their pension there is much better. And not only is the pension, or they have a pension, I should say, he took a cut in pay on top of it to go to Monroe. So again, if we had a pension, he would stay. He's a 5-year veteran, not only an unbelievable police officer, but he is an amazing human being as well. We actually lost a really good officer. I think last Thursday was his last day. So, you know, if anybody from the MARB is listening, please think hard about it, and that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Bohr, you wanted to add to that?
Yes. First, I want to thank Councilman Donovan for his advocacy. We actually had a meeting today with the city's attorney, the union's attorney, to prepare for the arbitration. So we're waiting for the arbitration date. And we talked about that exit interview and are looking to see if we could include an affidavit from that police officer who left to document the reason for leaving, to include that in that package.
Thank you for that information. Councilwoman Garthwaite?
Just want to remind everyone that April 20th, 9 to 12, there's the bottle and can sort at the West Haven Animal Shelter.
Thank you for that reminder. Any other liaison reports? Councilwoman Callahan?
Hi. For the 6th District, we had a cleanup with the Heberts over the weekend on Marginal Drive for the Greenway. That went very well. We had about 20, 30 people there. Some were doing mulch, some were cleaning up, and New Haven's working hand in hand with West Haven, and it went very, very well. So we're looking at things going forwards. It's a beautiful area. We were down there ourselves helping out, and looking forward to the progress going forward. And thank you to you, Kathy, and Mr. Hebert, for running this. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you for the report. Any other liaison reports? Does anybody have any new business this evening? Mr. Vargo?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. About a week ago, I had the good fortune to do a police department ride-along, and it was one of the best times of my life. It was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. And I'm not going to disclose the officer that I rode with to protect his privacy, but an absolutely tremendous human being, and I encourage everybody to go on them. And I already told Chief Perno I want to go again. But one thing I want to say to echo Councilman Donovan's sentiments with the exit interview is I did ask the officer during our ride along very pointedly how he feels about working at West Haven, because he came from another jurisdiction that at the time paid a lot more. And he says that what's keeping him here is that our police force allows him to be a cop. And he says that somewhere else that he worked would essentially unofficially reprimand him for doing his job because they didn't want to have the paperwork if it was a very minor issue. But Chief Perno runs a very liberal department that they expect cops to be cops, and I thought that was a great compliment to our police force. But he did say that not having a pension does come into play, because if they have a family or they're trying to start a family, they're thinking long term. So we have really great people on the force, and I'd hate to see more go because of this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other new business? Councilwoman Callahan?
Again, I just want to ditto what Councilman Vargo said, and I believe that goes for the fire department as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other new business? Mayor Bohr?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. I sound like Elvis. Thank you very much. I just wanted to acknowledge the comments in public session, because under new business is really the only opportunity we get to do that, because we can't speak back during the meeting. And Kathy, you were asking about, people who are line, litter, or dump, and then they're not prosecuted. And that happens very often. That's where the fines come in. That's why we're increasing our fines. Now you might say, well, sometimes they won't pay the fines. That is true. But if they live in the city, we're looking to see if we could attach fines to tax bills. We're not sure if we could legally do it, but we're going to figure out if we can, because then they have to pay them. So we're on it. And to our ladies in the back from Painter, who stuck it out all night, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for coming forward. And we're going to send Public Works over to check out your issue. And I saw you talking to Ken earlier, so he probably has some information on that as well. So thank you all.
All right, if there's no more new business, before we go, we have a big budget process ahead of us. I said it before, I said it at the special meeting. If anybody at home has any ideas for us that they want us to explore, we'd be more than happy to take a look at them. And good luck to all of us on our venture, taking a look at the budget and seeing what we can do with it. And, obviously working with the mayor on some of the ideas she has. And if we don't have anything else for this evening, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Good night, everyone.